Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. You will have seen me looking and dressed exactly the same in two videos. This is probably the first of the two that you see. And the reason I look so disgusting is because I am ill. What's wrong with me, you may ask? I don't know. It's the answer to that. I have been suffering from something for a long time. I actually uploaded a video sorry, I'm moving, it's just making me feel better because this is a really weird video for me to upload. I've been suffering for quite a long time. I had kidney problems years and years ago, and actually I think I did a video called An Update on My Health, and I think in that video I kind of explained all of that sort of stuff up to now. And when I was doing that video, I think I was saying that I thought it was something wrong with my kidneys. Now, that's not technically a lie. I think there is something wrong with my kidneys, or it hasn't changed as such, but it's moved on to something else. So I need your help, if possible, for any of you who are watching this, or if you know anyone who might be suffering for something similar, to either tell me that it's not what's wrong with me, or maybe advise me on how to get somebody to take me seriously, I guess. So, where do I start? I'm going to get my bit of paper that I took to the doctors. I'm going to read it to you. So, two things. I'm really bad at remembering stuff, so, this is like a recent thing, which I think could be related as well. So, I actually wrote almost an essay out when I went to the doctors. She didn't really listen to much of it, but first of all, I'll explain to you what I think. This has been going on for years, by the way, and it's been getting worse and worse to the point where I've taken so much time off work. Luckily, my work is quite understanding, but it's still an issue. So I'm finding it difficult to hold down a job. I want to run my business and do YouTube and things outside of work, and a normal, healthy person would be able to do this because, especially when you've got weekends off, why wouldn't I do this if I've got nothing else to do? But I physically cannot get out of bed. Like last weekend, I had to stay in bed all of Sunday. And then I've been suffering from migraines this week, just awful things. When I get home from work, I just want to get in bed. I'm so tired to the point where I actually, I feel drunk. I'm so tired. I can't remember things because I get into bed, I just pass out. I'm not social anymore. I miss out on so many things, and it's frustrating because people just think I'm lazy, and it's not the case. So I've been going to and from the doctors to try and diagnose what's wrong with me. Now, recently, and I know you shouldn't do this, but I've basically come to the conclusion that I'm going to have to basically diagnose myself and tell the doctor what's wrong with me, because in our country we have the NHS, but the NHS is suffering very badly, and people just you don't get that time that you used to have. People are rushed, and when I go to the doctors, they will literally just go onto a search engine, the same as I do, type in my symptoms and then tell me what's wrong with me. And I get it, it's a GP, but I need to be sent somewhere specialist, and I can't afford private healthcare at the moment. So I have taken it upon myself to search the internet myself, because I can't keep taking time out of work for them to get nowhere. So, and I haven't necessarily been doing that thing where, I type in one thing that's wrong with me and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying. They're telling me I need to go to the hospital because I'm dying. I typed in lots of different symptoms over a period of time, and it all linked back to one illness, or potentially one illness, is where I can pinpoint myself, mostly. Now, when I've been to the doctors, we've had these conversations, and they can't figure out what's wrong with me because they can't pinpoint it to one thing. They thought I had arthritis at one point, they thought I had diabetes, they thought I had kidney problems or bladder problems, but I've had lots of tests done. I've had a camera up my wee hole, and all those sorts of things. So and they can't, oh god, I'm so itchy. They can't pinpoint it to anything, and I've had lots of blood tests and they've come back fine. And this is another thing that makes me think that I might have this particular illness. So instead of stalling, I'll just tell you. I have a checklist here for lupus. Now, I am going to read you the checklist and tell you what I do and don't have out of them. And then I'm going to read my symptoms, and this is where I need your help. Any of you who know someone suffering with it, or are suffering with yourself, or have something similar to what I have but it's not that, please could you maybe share this, or just get somebody just to message me. It could be privately, it doesn't have to be on here. I'll leave my email down below if you want to privately message me, but I just need some help. I'm desperate, like I'm literally begging for some help. I know I don't get many views, but if this video could just go to a few people, if you maybe watch my videos but you don't bother to ever comment or anything, if you could just maybe share this to somebody who you think might be able to help me, I would be eternally grateful, because I cannot live a normal life at the moment and it's horrible. I'm desperate, and if it was lupus I'd be happy because I'd know what it was and I'd be able to start trying to deal with it, but I'm not allowed to take anything at the moment, because in terms of like they can't give me anything at the doctors to help with anything because they don't know what the problem is. Now 6 months ago I was at the doctor's. This is like a long thing. This 6 months ago is short term in the grand scheme of things. But 6 months ago I was at the doctor's and he decided to test me for all sorts of things, and lupus was one of them. Now it came back that my bloods were okay. The problem is lupus can take, and the doctor told me this last time I went, a couple of years to rear its head in terms of a blood test. 2% of people that have lupus never ever get a positive on their blood test. There's other tests they can do, but I wasn't aware of this at the time when I went to the doctor's. But and she didn't really take it very seriously. The last time I went to the doctor's, she gave me some exercises to do for my swollen joints, and said, go home, try those, we'll do another blood test for you, but it might come back with nothing. So, and then I don't know where to go from there, because I don't know what to say to the doctor, so that's why I need some help. Anyway, I'm going to run through all this, tell you how I'm feeling, and then re-beg you for some help. So, symptoms. So, chest pain. Yes, I started getting this recently when I laugh too much or I breathe really deeply, and it comes and goes. Like today it's not so bad, but when it's there it's like a sharp pain in my chest, I guess. Difficulty breathing, or I get like really out of, my voice is a bit husky today, sorry, or like a raspy, I don't know why, but I get really out of breath really easily. Rapid or irregular heartbeat. I can't say that I noticed that, so that's good. The lungs, pain in the chest with deep breathing. That's literally what I just said to you. The eyes, dry eyes, yes. I'm a contact lens wearer, and I wear like the most moist ones that you could possibly wear, and if I'm having a bad day my eyes are so dry I want to scratch them out of my eyeballs. So yes. And also I get really dry eyes like if I'm looking at something for an extended period of time, whereas most people wouldn't tend to get dry eyes. Eye redness or puffy eyes. Now quite regularly I will wake up, especially when it was warmer, and the sun can affect people with lupus actually, so it fits in. When it was warmer out, my eyes, I would quite often wake up with really puffy eyes, almost to the point where like I had like pink eye or something. And my mum-in-law commented on it quite a few times, like, you don't look like you're well. I haven't had it for like a little while, maybe a few weeks, maybe a month maximum, but it does happen. It comes and goes. Some loss of vision. Well, I mean, I have bad eyesight anyway, so I don't think I could really comment on that. Blood, bleeding or bruising easily. I bruise very easily. I don't know if this is necessarily a change that I've noticed. I've always, or like, not always, but yeah, I'm an easy bruiser, and also like my bruises last for a ridiculously long time. Me and my boyfriend will jokingly give each other like dead legs or whatever, and I remember I had a bruise on my leg for like a month. It might have even been longer. It was disgusting, and it wasn't like he like beats me, it was just my bruises don't go away. Infections. I don't recall really getting a lot of infections, which is good because that is a big sign of it, I think. Muscle and bones. Muscle weakness, yes, all the time. Like joints especially, like I have no, like me and Shad again do this squeezing thing with each other. This is why I notice a lot of them. We squeeze each other's hands and like see who can do it the hardest, and like I will be like shaking because I'm trying so hard, and he's like, I literally cannot even feel you doing anything. I have so much weakness, like when I get up I feel like an 80-year-old lady. It's terrible. Stiffness in joints, oh my god, it's just like so bad. My joints and my muscles are the worst thing that's affected by whatever's making me ill. And aching muscles, again, it's so bad. I get like swollen, achy all the time. My wrists, my knees, my ankles, so bad. Excuse me. I get it all down my legs. And my legs are probably the most affected, and it's horrible because I struggle to walk some days, and it's just, I do a job where I'm quite active, and I like to lead an active life. I can't exercise, and I'm putting on weight because I'm sitting in bed basically all the time, just not eating lots, but even like if I eat a little bit of food, it's hard because I can't exercise and make myself feel good. So yeah, it's difficult. Skin rashes, on and off, yes. I get it on my face. I actually had lots of instances when I was in Thailand where I'd get this really random rash on my face, and supposedly the sun can do that to you if you have lupus, and we could never pinpoint it to anything. And now I think that it's probably related because it was this, in that sort of the butterfly rash they call it, was that region, and then it would make my eyes puff up as well if it got really bad. Sensitivity to sun or light, yes, especially if I'm having what they call as like a flare up, which I'm not saying I have lupus, but I'll call it a flare up for the purposes of understanding. If I'm having a bad day, the sun is like so bright it hurts my eyes. I would happily be in a dark room all day. The lights, we have oh my god, LED lights above me. We have LED lights, and they kill me if I'm having a bad day. I remember I was making a video the other week as well, and these lights that I use, they're not bothering me now because I'm not, like, I'm not feeling terrible. But I was making a video and I was like this because it was so hard to make the video because they were so bright in my eyes. Mouth or nose sores. Mouth sores not so much. My nose at the moment especially has just been terribly sore, so much, and really dry all the time. So, oh god, sorry. Hair loss. Now this is a question I had for any of you who are sufferers, whatever. My hair molts all the time. Now my sister is a hairdresser, so I always ask her if I'm new, because at one point it was so bad I thought I had alopecia, and I asked her and she said my hair's fine, but like my hair comes out, I'll run my fingers through my hair, like loads of it comes out. It's all over the floor at work, it's everywhere in the room. I break hoovers because of it. Is that like technically hair loss or not? Because I think my head replaces it, because I'm not necessarily losing hair. Is that just my hair life cycle? Is it just really short? I don't know. The next section is the brain, and it says seizures. No, I don't get seizures. Headaches or dizziness. Yes, I suffer with this so badly, actually, especially in Thailand, which again links back to being somewhere warm and sunny. Whenever I'd get up, it would be like, oh, I need a moment. And it's not been so bad in recent days. And I think that's me trying really hard to look after myself. So, memory problems or confusion. My memory is so bad these days. It's like, I'll be at work and I'll go into my bag and I'm like, what the hell have I got into my bag for? Then I sit back up. Then I go to get back in my bag and I've forgotten. Or I'll be having a telephone conversation with someone and I'll be like, yes, I must say that. Completely forget all the time. And then I'm like, what was I trying to say? I can't remember. I also can't get things out of my that I want to say. Like I get fuzzy brain quite a lot, and I find it really hard to get out what I'm trying to say, which is quite difficult. And like people just think I'm an idiot, and I'm not. Sad thoughts, yes, more and more so as well. And I think that's probably though because I'm feeling so rubbish all the time, and I feel like I'm an old lady trapped in a young person's body. It's horrible. Weakness or numbness on one side, for example, one arm weak or numb. I don't think it's normally both sides. So kidneys, swelling of legs and or feet. Yes, that is the bane of my life. I am basically always swollen. I like the degrees of how swollen I am like change, but I'm always swollen. I remember a few years ago now, I had to, because my fiance doesn't drive, I had to drive myself to the hospital, but he came with me. We drove to the hospital and I could barely drive. I couldn't bend my legs. It was so uncomfortable. They were like warm and they're all like really bad signs. So I went to the hospital and I didn't take it seriously. They were just like, have you got an STI? Which I don't have. Didn't have at the time, don't have now. I'm perfectly well down there, if you know what I mean. And that really frustrated me because they basically just sent me home. I felt like an idiot and it just made me not want to go back and get help, and which is frustrating. Frothy and or bloody urine. Yes, I get frothy urine all the time, and blood comes and goes. I actually have the test strips they do in the doctor's surgery. You can buy them like online, and I bought some and I test every now and again, and a lot of the time there'll be protein or a little bit of blood in my urine, not when it's like the time of the month, but you know, aside from that, there's always something going on down there that's not right. General fatigue. Well, I've been up for all of 3.5 hours, like actually out of bed, and I'm so tired. I'm happy with my eyes shut like this. So tired. I've got so much to do today, and I don't have the energy to do it. I just want to lay in bed. Fevers, yes, on and off. I get them quite easily. Weight change, not massively noticeable. Like I said, I've put on some weight, but I think that's probably my poor choices in food, so I think that's down to myself. And the other one is poor appetite. And yes, now I will eat because I think that I should eat, like, oh, it's this time of day, I should probably eat. But equally, if I'm having a really bad day, I could go all day and just not be bothered to eat. So I've explained to you fatigued. So I'll read exactly what I typed down, just so if there's anything I've missed. Sorry if I repeat myself, but if there's anything I've missed, then it's here. I just want to get it all out there so that if someone can help, please do. If this is the first time you've ever seen me in a video, by the way, I don't always look like this. I've put on like minimal makeup to just get through this video, so sorry. So fatigue. Sometimes I'm so tired that I have to sleep all day and I still don't feel rested. It's almost impossible for me to wake up in the morning. Yeah, I can never wake up to my alarms anymore. I have to get shouted at basically to get woken up, and it's so hard. Even with the right amount of sleep, I still can't do it. It's incredibly hard for me to wake up in the mornings. Oh, I've wrote that twice, great. I never used to be like this. Rash. I get this on my face and wrists from time to time. I first noticed a few years ago when I was living in Thailand and couldn't pinpoint it to anything in particular. I'd get such a bad rash on my face that it would swell almost to the point of my eyes closing up. I would also get a bumpy rash on my wrists at a similar time, which was quite itchy. I feel like it got worse I feel like I got this way more in Thailand as the climate was a lot warmer. Painful or swollen joints / muscle weakness. First noticed a few years ago. When I'm having a bad week or month, my knees get severely swollen, sometimes to the point that I can't cross my legs. I also get pain in my knees, wrists and ankles. My legs get really painful, lots of pain in this. I didn't write it in the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Smart way. I will just put it simply because I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. I just wrote it down so that something to jog my memory, I guess. My legs also get really painful and weak feeling to the point where it's almost hard to walk. Pale or purple fingers and toes. My hands and feet particularly. My fingers and toes are cold 99% of the time, even in a warm room. They get so cold to the point where it's uncomfortable, especially my feet. It's horrible. They're like almost like chilblains, is that called? You get like shooting burning pains because it's so cold. I think that's what it is. Maybe it's not, but that is what happens. Sensitivity to sun / light. If I go out in the sun, my nose will instantly go red. I always thought it was a burn, but it never hurts, and it still happens on a relatively cool day with SPF on, like if there's a lot of sun exposure. It's really weird. Everyone laughs at me for it, but yeah, it happens quite regularly. Also, when I'm having a bad day, the lights in my bedroom really affect my eyes, which I said to you. Headaches and migraines. I struggle with really bad headaches, even when I drink enough to eat and eat well. On a bad day, I will be bedridden with a terrible migraine. This will also go along with other symptoms above. And I know the difference between a headache and a migraine because I was diagnosed with having migraines years ago. Okay, chest pain and deep breathing. I've noticed this more and more over the last few months. I've been having more trouble breathing. I find that I'm out of breath easily. Even if I walk up the stairs, I'm like, oh, it's like, what the hell? I never used to be that unfit. If I laugh a lot, I get chest pain quite easily. Dry eyes. My eyes on a bad day tend to be really dry, and I struggle to wear my contacts, which is a pain as I really don't enjoy wearing contacts. Glasses, I think I meant to write. Depression. This one's a bit in-depth, but if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know these issues. If you haven't and you want me to do a video on these issues, then let me know. I've been suffering with bouts of depression for a few years now. I've had to deal with the loss of a parent in quite a traumatic way. My mum was an alcoholic and I had to live through a lot of trauma and pain. She died in 2014, and while this was a relief, it was also incredibly hard to go through. Now, you're going to think I'm heartless in saying that, but if you've ever dealt with someone who's an addict, you'll understand what I mean by that. I was also considering becoming a donor for my mum so she could have a new liver, which put a lot of stress on me. I go through stages of feeling really stressed and depressed, and then I can have a good week where I feel better about things. I wrote this very briefly. There's lots more to this story over the last few years, but they're just little bits of my life that have happened. My dad also got diagnosed with Parkinson's towards the end of my mum's life, which has also had a massive impact on my life. and they told him that he had probably got an early onset of Parkinson's because of my mum's stress that she caused on my dad, which is a really hard thing to go through when you love both your parents dearly, because there's anger but also you can't be angry. It's just very difficult. Kidney pain. When I have a flare up, my kidneys cause me a lot of pain and my urine seems to smell or look different. I think this is related but couldn't be sure. And that is just a few of the things that are wrong with me that I wrote down in a rush before I went to the doctors. There are lots more to it, and I know that lupus, for example, can have like a long time to diagnose because it's really hard, but I feel like I'm being misdiagnosed and I'm really scared that I'm going to get something really wrong with me, or my kidneys, for example, are going to have irreversible damage, and I'm just scared. So if any of you could help me, like, I would be so eternally grateful. Like, you'd save my life, basically. So please share this with anyone that might be able to help me. You know, or message me, like I said, just anything. I'm so desperate, like, please help me. Anyway, I will be back with some better quality content, not such a high ISO next time so you can see me, but I look disgusting. And I really hope you didn't enjoy this video, but I really hope someone can help me out there. Mwah. And I'll speak to you all in my next video. Bye.